got stuck under there. His hand at last trailed beneath my pants. He snarled in satisfaction at the wetness he found waiting for him, and his thumb circled the spot at the apex of my thigh, teasing, brushing up against it, but never quite. His other hand gently squeezed my breast. At the same moment, his thumb pushed down exactly where I wanted. I bucked my hips, my head fully back against his shoulder now, panting as his thumb flicked. He hissed at the contact and slid a finger inside me. I let out a moan so loud it drowned out the rain as he slid in a second finger, filling me so much I couldn't even think around it. I couldn't breathe. Reese groaned, plunging his fingers in deeper and harder. He was enormous in my hand, so hard, he hissed, cock-twitching as I brushed my thumb over the tip. I leaned down and put my mouth on him. He jerked at the contact and barked shit, and I laughed around him even as I took him deeper into my mouth. 1 second, he was in my mouth, my tongue flickering over the broad head of him. He sheathed himself in me with a single stroke. I moaned into the pillow at every glorious inch of him. Reese pulled out and plunged back in. I managed to rise up enough to see where we were joined, and the sight of it wrecked me so thoroughly that I climaxed with his name on my lips. I couldn't tell where one climax ended and the second began as he thrust in again and again. I slid onto him, the fit so much deeper, and rode him gently. Reese barked my name, thrusting his hips up. Stars wheeled as he slammed deep, gasping my name over. His fingers plunged in and out, slow and hard, and my very existence narrowed to the feel of them, to the tightness, and me ratcheting up with every deep stroke, every echoing thrust of his tongue in my mouth. He swore again, breathing hard, fingers stroking me through the last throes. Reese withdrew his fingers. I wanted to have you right there in the middle of everyone, but mostly I wanted to do this. His eyes held mine as he brought those fingers to his mouth and sucked on them, on the taste of me. I want you splayed out on a table like my own personal feast. I have no intention of doing it all in one night or in a room where I can't even fuck you against the wall. I shuddered. He remained long and hard against me. I had to feel him, had to get that considerable length inside of me. The first lick of Risan's tongue set me on fire. I want you splayed out on a table like my own personal feast. He growled his approval at my moan, my taste, and unleashed himself entirely on me. He worked me in great sweeping strokes, and when his tongue slid inside me, I reached up to grip the edge of the world that I was very near to falling off of. Just as his fingers replaced where his mouth had been, pumping inside me as he sucked, his teeth scraping ever so slightly, I bowed off the table as my climax shattered through me. He remained kneeling, feasting on me. I watched as he unbuttoned his pants and the considerable length of him sprang free. I wanted him, every glorious inch of him in me. Reese shuddered, and I watched his cock twitch. Reese laughed in a way that skirted along my bones and slid in and in and in. He stilled inside me, letting me adjust. Reese pulled out slightly and thrust back in slow, so tortuously slow. Again he pulled out, then thrust in. Again, faster, deeper this time. With each pounding stroke, the bond glowed clearer and brighter and stronger. Release tore through my body, and he pounded into me hard and fast, drawing out my pleasure. Reese roared as he came, slamming to the hilt. Do you consider what I read to meet the standards of the South Carolina Association of Librarians' agenda to provide high-quality materials that meet academic and recreational reading needs of all of our students? Can any of you provide the educational significance, appropriateness for students of an in-depth description of fingering somebody, adding a second finger, plunging them in deeper and harder, bringing his fingers to his mouth, sucking on them, and tasting someone, being made available to children 14 and up in our district libraries? With good reason, this book has been removed from school district libraries across the country. It isn't only a couple. According to PEN America, 27 school districts have removed this book. And that was 2022-2023. A Court of Mist and Fury doesn't meet the KEC policy for material selection as follows. It doesn't meet educational significance, appropriateness for students in each school, such as grade and age level, and does not add value to the collection. Reputation of the author is not significant based on not meeting the first three. And appropriateness of the text of the South Carolina Department of Ed standard for school library resource collections, age and developmentally appropriate for the students served, or the grade definitions, high school standards serving grades 9 through 12. The FOLAT system shows the age rating by the publisher to be 17 and up. Whose rating should we use? The publisher, who will sell less book with age limitations, or the FOLAT system that will make a profit from the sale of the book? Goodreads has 17 and up, then lists the grade levels 10 through 12, so FOLAT system uses 10 through 12 grades rather than 17 and up? Does the FOLAT system shop around websites until it gets the age rating it needs to be made available in schools for grades 9 through 12? BookLook age rating 18 and up, Common Sense Media 17 and up, Goodreads 17 and up. Backup documentation submitted by Margaret Adams and Carol Lunsford of Spring Hill High School from FOLAT says the book is rated age 17 by the publisher. This book is intended for an adult audience, yet the district has it available to 14 and up. In conclusion, the information I have provided for the removal of the book does not violate the First Amendment according to CKW Wentzville School District. Supreme Court case Pico versus Island Trees, Judge Brennan's opinion suggested it would be permissible for school boards to remove based on pervasive vulgarity. I have established the material per the Post and Courier from multiple review committee members that the book is sexually explicit and pervasively throughout the book based on the backup that they provided the board. The material is not age appropriate for grades 9 through 12 due to the age ratings and does not meet the standards set by the South Carolina Association of School Librarians, the ALA, or our district KEC policy. Thank you. And I would like to request that my written notes be put into the minutes of the meeting.
Thank you very much. And just for the record, Ms. Phelps was informed prior to this meeting that she had 15 minutes to speak. So I did not say that prior to you speaking. I didn't want to interrupt you, but you did a good job. So that will bring us to the district's response, and they also have 15 minutes to respond. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, Dr. Ross. Thank you for this opportunity to share the work of the School District 5 Book Review Committee. My name is Carol Lunsford, and I'm the Coordinator of Instructional Technology and the District Supervisor for Library and Media Services. In adherence with District 5 Board Policy KEC and KECR, the District Review Committee conducted a thorough evaluation of the challenge material, A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah Moss. The committee, composed of diverse representatives from Chapin High School, Crossroads Intermediate School, Dutch Fork High School, Spring Hill High School, and the district office, engaged in a comprehensive review process guided by Board Policy KEC and KECR, and independently read A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah Moss in its entirety. As we face book challenges like this one, it's critical that we trust the process outlined in Board Policy and the members of the committee that was formed to conduct the review. The committee diligently followed the instructions provided by Board Policy. As stated in our policy, the committee emphasized the importance of the freedom of inquiry that is vital to education. The evaluation process involved an in-depth examination of the material as a whole, without extracting passages out of context. The committee considered the values and faults of the book and weighed them against each other, ensuring a fair and balanced assessment. If you'll please refer to Policy KEC in your packet, you'll see under the section Procedures for Handling Questions or Challenge Library Center Materials, where it clearly outlined that we must follow these procedures. Various review sources were consulted during this process, including the South Carolina Department of Education Standards for Library Resource Collections, Goodreads, Amazon Reviews, Bloomsbury Publishing, Common Sense Media, Kirkus Reviews, BookLooks, Publishers Weekly, and several others, ensuring a comprehensive understanding of public and professional perspectives. I have provided a copy of each of these resources for your review. One of the tasks from the board was to determine if this book was in just one library, and it was not. It was in 3 libraries across School District 5, and 6 additional copies were purchased for the purpose of this review. Committee members also identified other districts in South Carolina who have open library catalogs like ours. This book was also found in Richland 1, Charleston, Lexington 1, and Greenville. Many other collections are closed to the public. Additionally, the committee discussed one additional district, Beaufort County, that has reviewed A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah Moss and chose to return it to the shelves. The committee then reviewed the South Carolina Department of Education standards for school library resources and highlighted that 40% of the library's collection should be made up of fiction titles. Another committee member identified that there should be 15 books per student in each collection and that the librarians must know how to build a collection to meet the needs of their school. The book was chosen to be in the collection because it is written by an award-winning young adult author and recommended by several professional library review sources as a good choice for high school libraries. It is important to note that this title is not required reading for any course in School District 5. The committee also identified the following while reading over several professionally reviewed resources: best-selling author and title. The reviews have differing age recommendations, ranging from age 12 to 17, with the committee identified median of age 14. The committee's opinion was that the dominant theme in A Court of Mist and Fury is found through its literary value. Characters, thoughts, and age-appropriate themes for high school students included good and evil, strong female character, and the fantasy fiction. The committee then discussed the explicit scenes in the book. The committee reviewed the resource book looks and their rating system. A Court of Mist and Fury was rated 4 out of 5 on that resource, and it was deemed obscene and sexually explicit. The committee, based on the materials that were reviewed, agreed that the title is not intended for young adult adolescent readers and is intended for young adult ages, which included high school students. Committee members emphasized the importance of looking at the book as a whole, not sections pulled out of context, which was clearly stated in Board Policy KEC, and that these scenes in the book were not dominant. The last resource reviewed by the committee came from a student perspective piece. The article shared student interviews regarding their opinions on book bans. 2 students in the article referenced A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah Moss specifically. One student stated it changed her life and that she found a book she could enjoy. It has encouraged her to read more. Another student stated explicit sexual activity and read it at age 11. No child should be allowed to read this type of book at that age. Per Board Policy KECR, the instructions to the evaluating committee state, the board directs the District Review Committee to bear in mind the principles of the freedom to learn and read. These are also available to you in your handout. The committees must base their decision on these principles rather than on defense of individual materials. Freedom of inquiry is vital to education and a democracy. The committee should study all materials thoroughly and read available reviews. The committee should check the general acceptance of the materials by consulting standard evaluation aids and local holdings in other schools. The committee must not pull passages or parts out of context. The committee must weigh values and faults against each other and base its opinions on the material as a whole. These instructions were the guiding principles for the committee's work. Therefore, after very careful consideration, the District Review Committee voted 8-1 that A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah Moss is deemed acceptable and appropriate for School District 5 high school libraries, aligning with the district's policies and guidelines. Therefore, the committee decided to return the 3 original copies of the book back to circulation. However, parents and guardians may submit a request to school administration or the school librarian if they do not wish for their child to have access to any title within the library. In closing, I want to publicly acknowledge and show appreciation for the work of the Book Review Committee members and their service to School District 5.